Oh, you should record this. Just.
I'm already recording. You are here with MAXedOutKim! Hello everyone, MAXedOutKim here, and I'm accompanied by BX78. There's a link in the description to his YouTube channel. You should definitely go check him out. So basically, BX78, you there?
Stupid audio jack. I was talking to myself in the room.
Okay, anyway, so the topic we're going to be discussing, since you don't know the topic and I do, so
She's gonna throw me under the bus.
basically, the topic we're going to be discussing is whether violent video games affect a child's mental health, whether if he goes psychotic, whether if they are bad at doing stuff at school, and stuff like that. So let's see if you can have a good controversy without laughing. So
I've heard this so many times. I have prepared myself for this.
oh, that's great. Okay, so you have anything to say about it? Like, what's your main thing? Because basically, I've read a lot that doctors say they've proven 25% of kids, 25% of kids, they end up becoming psychotic or have problems with like speech or trouble in school because of violent video games. So, what's your input on that?
I can understand how 25% of kids, depending on the age rate.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you notice, like, little 5-year-olds,
Mm-hmm.
I was actually having one of this outside like 10 minutes ago. One older kid would say something and the 5-year-olds would copy that kid.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I'm assuming, depending on the age rate and how mature they are, they could be copying that person and seeing it as nothing wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But it is. And they have that mindset, and they've always been kind of imprinted to say.
Yeah.
And I guess that's just how the mindset is. But some kids, when they're old enough, they don't have that. Like me, I play Call of Duty and everything, and you don't see me as psychotic.
But I totally agree. Like, I feel like it really just depends on the age you are, what time. Like, I feel like you should not. Some kids should not play violent video games by the time where until their brain has fully matured, understanding that this is just a game. Because I've met some kids who really take the game seriously, and it kind of scares me sometimes, and about how young they are.
Yeah, I can understand where you're going now.
Yeah, and
go ahead.
okay, and then another study's shown is that kids shouldn't even play video games at all, like any sort of video games, until they're like, teenagers, basically, like 13, 12, and up, because supposedly every bit of video game has some sort of violence to it, whether it's the most non-violent game you could ever think of, like Super Mario Bros. Or anything, or like Brawl, like there's some type of violence with it, whether it's very small or then it's, as big as Call of Duty where you're shooting, using, shooting guns and whatnot. So do you think that's also a possibility with like those like Super Mario Bros, like the video games that are less like violent? Do you think they still have the same effect on children with violent video games as in like Call of Duty, GTA, and whatnot?
No, because in GTA, you get shot in the head and you die.
Mm-hmm.
In Super Mario, you get hit by a turtle shell and you fall down.
Yeah.
Super Smash Bros. That there can be violent, but it's not as bad as Call of Duty or GTA.
Yeah.
I can understand why they're saying Super Smash Bros., but I don't think they're going to be falcon punching or falcon kicking somebody off a giant platform anytime soon.
Yeah. So you feel that when do you think those little those kind of little violence that, they just fall over. Do you think that kind of messes with the kid's brain, as in, like, oh, this is reality, this is what can actually happen to me? Or do you think that's just a thing, oh, the kid's just playing the video game, whatever?
Well, it all does depend on the aging. Mm-hmm. Because there are some kids that watch ghost shows, something along those lines. Mm-hmm. And then they'll think, my house is haunted. I am a prime example of that, by the way. They'll think all that type of stuff. So if it's like a 5-year-old playing Super Smash Bros., it can also angle him very easily. Uh-huh. Because in Minecraft, you die, you get to respawn, no big deal. Mm-hmm. Super Smash Bros., you run out of lives and you can't play anymore, and you're sitting there and you're watching other people play and you get angry and frustrated.
Yeah. So do you think that has a bad effect on children, like on little kids who, like younger children, who they get a bad representation of life? Like with Minecraft, you just keep respawning in life. Do you think some kids might not understand that once something really bad to you in life, you probably won't have another chance at life? Or do you think that's kind of like nobody really thinks of that?
That is actually a very good question.
Yeah.
It's hard to explain it, because there are some, whenever you're a teenager like I am, mm-hmm. I don't care if I get hurt.
Yeah.
Because I know I'll heal fast.
Yeah, same.
And my parents, they freak out whenever I get hurt. Like if I sprain my ankle or something, they'll freak out.
Yeah.
The kids, I don't think I'm in a place to say this, but younger kids like my age or even younger don't understand the meaning of life and how easy it is to lose it and stuff like that.
Yeah, so you feel like sometimes some video games could give the wrong representation of life and what life really is, and it's not like how all video games say, where you just keep responding over and over again?
It might be, depending on how young they are. Like, if they're 9 or 10, I'm pretty sure they'll understand that if you die, you die.
Yeah.
But if they're like 5 or 6, and then they try to fly, well, I don't think that's going to end too well.
Oh, God bless them.
I've had a friend that did that. She broke her leg.
Oh my God, that's so upsetting. So do you think they should? I know there's. What do you think about like parents and letting their kids play video games? Because I know my brother, he's not old, but he's not like crazy young, but he does play violent video games, and sometimes he got angry one time and actually punched the computer screen, and the screen like broke. Do you think parents have a big influence on the children who play violent video games and whatnot?
I think they do, because if you notice, whenever kids have a violent family background, like their mom and dad fighting with their siblings, they're more easy to anger, and they have a lot more blow-ups mm-hmm. than any person with their parents fight without them being there.
Yeah. So I also agree with that, as well as parents being parents having a big influence on children and how they grow up, with either allowing them to play video games or taking that anger out on video games, which I feel like is such a bad thing, because if the child is so angry because their parents are arguing, whatever, that children takes it out on video games, and I feel like that's where the anger begins, where they could possibly become like unhealthy, and possibly how school, like some school shootings, and like God forbid any school ever have that, but I feel like that could really lead to a big like click for a child in their brain, especially of how young they are.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one though.
Yeah,
it's just the parents, they don't notice how much of an influence they have. They should really review the game themselves and see what's in it, because I've had a friend who's an adult, and he didn't know what GTA had in it. He just saw it as another game, something like Call of Duty, but you live in a normal world. Mm-hmm. But the thing is, it has strippers, strip clubs, nudity, drugs, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And this kid was 9 or 10.
Yeah.
So that influenced him.
Definitely influences, because I don't know if you watch Criminal Minds. Criminal Minds is like one of my favorite TV shows ever. I recently watched an episode, one of the newest episodes that came out maybe a couple months ago, where the kids, and this is where it definitely led to the topic I was thinking of, there was kids who played video games all their life. Their parents got separated, right? They were brothers, and the parents got separated. They ended up meeting in real life, but they kept playing video games together through like the same IP and whatnot. And they ended up using real people as if they were playing the game themselves with the fantasy virtual people in the game. They're using humans in their place and forcing humans to kill each other because it's like, a video game. They're obviously crazy, but it's a TV show and they're obviously crazy, but they that's what they did. They would tempt people in their brains. They would literally sit next to each other. One player would have one human being on their side and one player would have another human being on their side. And there's just so many clicks to that I could just, basing off right in the beginning when they were showing their background story, they were all talking about how they played video games all their life, and when they got separated by their parents because their parents divorced, that kind of clicked. So
I can really see where you're going from there.
Yeah. So overall, you think violent video games, the violent ones like GTA, Call of Duty, you really feel like those are the big ones that kind of stand out and could affect the child's health, depending on how young they are, of course.
Well, there are all some games that are worse than that. Like Devil May Cry.
Yeah.
I think it was very violent.
Very.
And it can also mess up the kid's psyche because you're fighting devils and demons and all that.
Mm-hmm. What parents should do, that they should teach their kids how to handle it appropriately and not learn to just rage all the time due to whatever they're doing, whatever if they die or if something happened in the game or anything like that.
Well, there is one thing that I know parents should be able to do, but they don't want to because they say that they're too busy. What you want to do is kind of sit down with the kid and talk to him while he's playing the video game and kind of explain to him that, son, you can't do this in real life. Say they're playing Minecraft and they die in Minecraft.
Yeah.
You got to explain to them, hey, you can't do that in real life, right? And if the kid says, yeah, then, that's good. If the kid says you can't, then you made your kid have a safer life by just sitting down and talking to him, watch a video game.
Yeah, definitely. How everyone talks about the talk about, when you get older and their parents have the talk. Anyone who's older, you guys know what I'm saying. The talk.
Yeah. The talk. The talk.
They kind of have to have that with video games, I feel, with younger kids who don't really know what they're doing or don't really understand, I'm not immortal. Anything could happen to me. I'm not invincible and, I could still get harmed, even though in a video game it says I can never get harmed and I'll be all okay.
Exactly. There was no cheat codes in life, kids.
Yeah, no cheat code whatsoever. Okay, well, I think that's a good wrap up, actually. So you think it's just based off age, based off the age, how young they are, depending on that. I just have one question for you. What about the kids who have disabilities? I know there's kids who do play video games who has disabilities, and there's some kids who don't have it as strong as others do, but those kids who are able to play Call of Duty and they know what they're doing, but they have some type of disability, whether it's ADHD or something very something that can affect them. Do you think diseases like that can definitely affect a kid when they're playing violent video games? Do you think that affects a kid more than a kid who's just a kid who doesn't have any disabilities?
Yeah, I have a friend, and he's 16 now. But when he was 13 or so, people without disabilities, we can handle a rated E game. Whenever he would play, I would always play Skylanders with him because he has a small case of autism, Asperger's, and ADHD.
Yeah.
Okay. So every time something would happen, we got to the point where he would get mad and he would slow his controller down on the ground and start yelling and cursing at me because I didn't do my job when it was his fault.
Yeah.
So it really does affect the age. But now that he's 16, he can play that game and he doesn't really care if he dies. Okay, so with people with mental disabilities, it takes them longer to mature.
Yes, definitely.
So
depending on the disability, of course.
Yeah, depending on disability. It's the same exact thing as I'm saying, except for with a disability, you gotta wait a little bit longer.
Yeah, I feel any game, whether any game that anyone plays, sometimes of course, if they're younger, they won't understand as much. But almost any game you play, there is some sort of violence, whether it's not completely extreme or it's just like a really small one, like Super Mario Bros. You know, that's very small. You know, but I feel like any game, it could result in just a child's health and a child not misunderstanding what the meaning of life is and what you can't and what you cannot do.
Absolutely correct.
Yeah, well, I think that's good. I think that's a very good way to end this episode off here. I would like to thank you for coming on the show and being a very good sport, especially in the beginning where we couldn't get ourselves together.
Hey, just roll with the punches.
But if any of you guys enjoyed, make sure you give this a thumbs up. Leave your opinions in the comment section below with all your topics. That if you have any topics you want to be discussed, hopefully you would come back again and we could do another topic, maybe even like a part 2 to this with some type of twist on it. But that's it. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, comment. Make sure you go check out BX78, and I'll see you guys.
I won't bite.
You won't bite?
I won't bite, I swear. People think I bite, but I don't.
Go check him out in the description, as well as all his social media and everything like that. And I will see you guys all next time with a new video. Bye.